So like you said before, thyroidism is very common. As a matter of fact, like 1 in 8 people have it. Um, but a majority of the people that deal with thyroid complications are women, and it's due to our nature of how our autoimmune system responds. But it also increases with hormonal changes that we see when we are pregnant or we're going through menopause. And at those points, like your body's already going through so much, and then with your thyroid acting up, it just throws in the mix there. So I've been dealing with thyroid issues diagnosed since I was 17. Mine is a genetic condition, but I'm also missing a part of my thyroid. It started out as being hyper, which, with hyperthyroidism, you get an increased heart rate, you get anxiety, you can't put on any weight, you just look sick all the time. But as I got older and I began to have children, my body shifted into a hypo state. So that brought on weight gain, it brought on fatigue, it brought on depression, and just really messed with like my whole cognitive function of my brain to where like everything was a task, even brushing my teeth. Um, for the longest time, my doses for my treatment from my doctor have been 200 plus micrograms a day of thyroid medication. My labs are always in the red when it comes to my TSH levels. They shift between 5 and 6.25. Any given time they draw blood, no matter if we increase dose, we decrease dose. We try different supplements. We tried changing the time of day that I take it. And it's frustrating because it's something that impacts every part of my life, not just for me, but for who I am to my family. Because it's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to keep patience when you have 4 kids, 2 teenagers, 2 toddlers. Like it's a lot on your plate. So then that spirals into your brain function of, anxiety, my ADHD, like it all just gets blown out of the way. And then when you find momentum to do something and try to take care of it, and you're working out consistently and you're eating right and you're doing all the right things and your weight goes nowhere, it's hard. So when I got the call from Danielle about what Phix was, and I saw that it first comes across as like a fat burner, but then looking more and more into the effects of what the hops extract does as far as, balancing the cognitive functions, stimulating the thyroid gland, and doing all these things that pertain to the different parts of not just the thyroid not functioning, but the different parts of the body that it affects. I was like, I'll give it a try because at this point, like it's not going to hurt anything. Um, so 2 weeks into taking it, I was feeling a lot better. With the energy, I was able to get out of bed, and I noticed that my clothes were fitting a lot differently. Um, I went on week 3 to go see my doctor for my biannual lab draws, and I got a call from them 2 days later that my TSH level went from a 6.25 down to a 1.8, which is huge. It actually is borderline over functioning now. So, at that point, they were able to tell me like, hey, you can come down a couple doses on your medication because your body is functioning so well. And literally the only thing that I changed in my diet was adding Phix to it, which stimulated more activity, of course. But it's just I was stuck between 175 and 170. I looked back at my medical records, and it was a straight year. No fluctuation between those numbers whatsoever. It was either 175 or 170, nowhere else, no matter what I did. And after I got that call, I was at work and I walked by the scale and I jumped on it, and I was down 6 pounds. And to some people, it's like, oh, 6 pounds, that's huge for a person that cannot lose weight. And so for me, like, I will take this product every day just because of what it's doing for my thyroid function and everything that spiders from that.
No, it's so crazy to me because I remember when we called you and Thomas, right? And it was just like, hey, we found this stuff that made my wife poop. Like, who would have ever thought? You know what I mean? I mean, like,
Right.
for us, it was so exciting because, like, as a husband, like I got my wife back, right? And so like I know how Thomas feels.
Oh yeah.
And like, and I can't, I don't know what you feel like. Of course I don't, but I know there's a lot of people in the world that you really wanted to get this message to, because you know what they feel like. Like, I don't know what those numbers are. I'm an idiot. I truly have no idea what the red means in that industry. I don't know what, going down. I can ignorantly also say, like, I don't even know if 6 pounds is a big deal in that, because I truly am ignorant, right? But I do know how massive that is after I kind of did some digging around, because it's almost impossible. And so to do what you've done in such a short amount of time, I'm obviously very excited to see where this goes for you. Because you know, I've had the luxury, like while you're over there just enjoying every bit of your new life, I've had the luxury, Danielle, my wife, has had the luxury of also sharing this with other people, right? That is what we do. We are networkers. We love this, and we found something that we believe can help everybody in the world with everything. And, so jumping from GI health to thyroid health to anything really cognitive. I mean, that probably the biggest thing for me personally, right? I know this is geared totally around thyroid, but for me to have like, women refer to it as mom rage.
Yeah.
I guess I could call it dad rage. Like, we have the same stressors, like, and to have that kind of, I guess what I should probably do is back up a little bit and explain to people kind of why this is even working in the first place. So, um, were you curious? Did you do any homework? I'm just curious. Like, what do you know what, I guess, helped this work for you?
So from what I was able to find, when I pulled like the Dr. Brown call, I talked to Allison and got some information, and then in addition to what I've learned through just like my general care through this whole situation, is when your thyroid is inflamed during these periods where your body is attacking it, the inflammation is what can cause all the extra side effects and your body to just kind of go crazy because it's not getting the hormones released the way that it needs to. And that's where everything comes into play as far as like the fatigue and the weight gain. It can do hair loss, it can create mom rage, and just the depression and things. So when you look at the hops extract benefits, with it being studied to have those inflammatory
Mhm.
properties, that's going to help reduce that inflammation in your thyroid, which is going to help boost it to do the things that it's supposed to be doing anyways. But also with the mature hops extract enhancing that cognitive and neurological functioning that you have going on, that brain fog lifts, that rage comes down, and you just get this calming sensation. And then whenever it activates that vagus nerve and it clears out all that literal shit that's in your gut, it makes it easier for your body to absorb the medication supplement that you have for that thyroid hormone, but it also is helping your body to absorb the natural hormones that your thyroid's releasing for you.
Yeah. No, I think obviously you hit that. Like, I think it's really important for me to let anybody know that doesn't know, or that's listening for this for the first time. So when she says hops extract, she is referring to what we can tell you is MHE3. It's matured hop extract. It's very, very different than if you just Google hops extract. Hops extract has been around. It's been used in all sorts of things. It's in beer, it's in sedatives, it's in all sorts of daily things. However, the matured hop extract is MHE3. The three actually specifically stands for three very amazing, very vital bitter acids. Those bitter acids go into the human body through consumption, right? They trigger the bitter receptors in the tongue, in the esophagus, in the small GI tract, or intestinal tract. And when that happens, they lock onto those receptors, and that essentially activates, um, kind of like turns on a light switch for the human body. It triggers and activates the vagus nerve, right? VAGUS. And if you look up the health benefits of activating the vagus nerve, you'll be blown away at what is really happening. And so one of those things, by the way, is it literally attacks inflammation in the body. And when you're hearing about all these clinical studies and all the stuff that the research that has been done on this one ingredient, it's proven to eliminate visceral fat, right? And so the visceral fat is that bad fat that is stored in and around our organs, but it's also what holds on to all of the toxins that we have from when we eat bad foods or we drink bad things, even just bad polluted air. And all of those toxins get stored. And when they're stored in the body, thus in return create inflammation. And inflammation in the body is the #1 killer because it turns into disease. Numerous, hundreds of different diseases in the body that are literally killing you and I. And so to be able to really have something that it goes in and it regulates and it triggers this vagus nerve, and it triggers, especially with the mom rage, the parasympathetic nerve, which is responsible for the fight or flight. That is my favorite thing. That is like my thyroid thing, right? Like I had the fight or flight. I was overstimulated. My mind was going crazy. I absolutely didn't know how to handle my stress. I took it out on the kids. I took it out on the drivers in front of me that brake checked me, like every little thing. I was like, rah! And
Yep.
to have that light switch just turn off was like, wow, this is life. Like, this is so freaking cool.
Yes.
And now the kids like run amok. They're throwing, like, Presley literally took a shit in her basket the other day and we couldn't find it, like, because she's potty training, and like just things that would be crazy are like funny,
Yeah.
but like it's just wild to me how something so simple that's been around for so long, but it was just too expensive to bring to the world,
Right.
is finally here. And you get to you get to be the first. I feel like you will actually be at some point in history, if someone's like, this does get to a point where there is medical research done, and this does end up essentially making it through trials specific to thyroidism. And this could eventually one day say, this does treat, heal, and cure. Can you imagine? You were the first. Like, you got to kind of tell the world, like, hey, before we could even say this, it was helping me.
Right.
And it's helping everybody, obviously, but just, so freaking cool and so exciting. So, okay, we don't need to talk anymore, but is there anything that you would say, I guess, any closing comments to anybody that might have issues with their thyroid, or dealing with hypothyroid or hyperthyroidism, that you would just want to say to them? And that doesn't have to be anything, but
I mean, honestly, with thyroid issues, especially if you've been dealing with them long term, what I noticed from this, like seeing the numbers was really enlightening, but you get used to living in pain or darkness, or accepting that this is the weight that I will always be at, or this is the person that I'm just going to have to be. And when you start taking this and it's working to heal your body from the inside, it is fixing things inside of you that you didn't know were broken. And so it's like going through each day and just seeing like the little changes, like, oh, my hair is shiny now, or I didn't clog the drain when I took a shower, or my nails actually look healthy. Like, it's little things that I had gotten so used to seeing a certain way or just being the normal. Like, it's so much bigger than just, oh, I lost a couple pounds or whatever. It's me feeling like a normal person and actually knowing what that looks like on me instead of seeing it on other people. So it's huge, and it's going to do so much for your confidence and for your self-love, because of the things that it's fixing that you can't see or that you didn't know were broken before you start this.
I love that. I love that. And it truly does. Like, that is what homeostasis is. And it's just gosh, it's just such a powerful thing. I saw a comment that said, I hope the company is ready for when this goes viral. And I've been telling that since the day I came into this thing.
Yep.
Because what it did for my wife's gut immediately is the reason I walked away from my other business. And I was